This is Carl at National RV Detroit, and I'm going to walk you through this 2021 Salem 26 D-Bud, D-B-U-D. Okay, I'm on the door side of the trailer. I'm walking towards the rear. Okay, so here we are. Let me look here and see what we're dealing with. Okay, so you have scissor type stabilizers, but you have an added feature for this. These yellow devices are called strong arms. You have to have this T handle loose when you raise the scissors up and down, the jack up and down. So this inner tube can travel freely inside the outer tube. Once you get it down into position, and you want to take the forward and backward motion out of it, you can tighten it down, and it'll lock itself into that position. It'll take away a lot of the forward and backward motion. You have one of these on each corner. Also, while I'm down here, that white valve right here, let's see if you can see it here, right here, is a quick dump valve for your onboard fresh water tank. So if you want to dump the tank after you're leaving the campground, so you don't want to haul the water around with you, you'll use this dump valve right here. Okay, you just pull it out. I would do it right now because I'm sure we've been water testing this, I'm sure there's water in there, but I don't want to get drenched here. I'd have to move pretty darn quick. I think I can do it though. Maybe there's nothing in there, we'll see. Oh no, it's there. I was right, see? But I did it anyway. Let me move some stuff here. So that's how you dump the fresh water tank. Excuse my camera work here. Okay. So, as you can see, the valve works good. Okay. Now you have a power awning with LED light strip, outside speakers. This here is your vent for your range hood. So if you're going to run the range hood fan, you have to reach up here and you have to free up this baffle right here. I don't know if you can see it, it's kind of hard to see, but you want to free it up when you're venting, otherwise you keep it snapped shut. Okay? This is just a spray port here there's a blue coiled sprayer that comes with this, so you just hook it on there and you can spray kids and dogs and feet and bicycles and whatever you got to spray down. Now right here, this is to fill your fresh water tank. 9 times out of 10 you're just going to be using city water. That hookup is on the other side. I'll show you when we get over there. But if you go to a campground that doesn't have plumbing on the campsite, you can pre-fill this onboard fresh water tank and then use the water pump that's on the trailer to pump the water to pressurize. It'll work just like you have city water. I'll show you the switch and everything when we get to it. Alright, so first of all, this is a little outside kitchen. I want to show you while the door is closed that this is a quick connect LP fitting right here. You can see it, I'll get it from different angles here. So that's where you hook up this griddle right here. Okay, so you can pull this out. It has to be plugged in. There's a hose that comes with it. Let's see if it's in the fridge just for the heck of it. Yeah, the hose is, the quick connect LP line is right here. Okay, and there's the sprayer I told you about that goes in that spray port. So basically this end clips onto right here on the back of the griddle, and the male end will connect down here where I showed you that quick connect was at. So you have to connect this before you use it. This refrigerator works on 110 AC, so as soon as you plug the trailer in, it turns on. Well, I dumped the trailer, it works good, as you can see. Alright, so your steps fold inside the trailer. If you're on uneven terrain, each leg has a pin in it, like right here, if you can see that. And I can pull this pin all the way out and slide the legs up and down and adjust the length to the terrain, so I can lengthen them, I can shorten them, make them longer, whatever I need to do. Okay? Of course, your other stabilizers all have that strong arm feature. Remember what I told you about the T-handle? You have to loosen that up when you're moving it, but you're only going to lock it, tighten it down and lock it when you have your jacks extended and in the position you want to keep them while you're camping. Okay, this is just a hookup if you wanted to add a solar battery charger, just a solar panel to charge the battery. This one's made by Furrion, so that's just in case you wanted to do that. Your stabilizers, they come with this drill attachment right here, which is a 3/4 inch, let me see, get a picture of it, 3/4 inch 6-point socket on a drill attachment, so you can just operate your stabilizers that way. You can also get a crank if you want one, but most people use a drill these days. This crank is for the power tongue jack. If the power tongue jack fails, there's a cap on the top. You can unscrew it and put this crank on it and crank it up and down manually in case you have a power outage or some kind of malfunction. This device has to do with the awning, if the awning was to fail. I can't really get into the directions on how to do it here. You'd have to read the paperwork that comes with it in your packet, or go to an online video and see that way, because you sort of have to do it while you're trying to retract it in an emergency. Okay, but it will work, and you can always get out of trouble with it. Okay, so there's a sway plate on here. I guess the paperwork called for a sway plate. You've got 2 LP tanks. I told you the LP tanks are full. I told you that this power tongue jack couldn't be operated manually with that crank. This is where you would put the crank. Okay. I got this shut off for some reason. That's not smart. So you have a kill switch for your battery. I just turned it on and we're plugged in, so right now the battery's charging like it should be. If you put it into long-term storage, you want to shut the battery off so that it doesn't, like the carbon monoxide and the LP gas detector are hardwired to the battery. So if you shut everything off, that's still going to draw power. So you could shut it off, disconnect the battery right there so you don't drain it down as fast. Okay, and you get a deep cycle, marine battery with it. That is just a reducer to reduce your 30 amp, your 30 amp plug down to a 15. If you want to plug it in at home. Okay, past your slide out. Let me back up for a second here to make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, so go this way. Okay, so these are your dump valves here. So you have 2 gray tanks. You can see one of them is right here. The other one, the valve for, is over here. So you got the 2 valves for gray, and then your black tank valve. The black tank holds toilet water and waste, right? The gray tank holds sink and shower water, depending on the valve. So what you'll do is you'll hook your hose up here first, run the other end into the dump station, then you'll dump the black first. I'm going to close it here, but you would dump the black first like that, right? And keep it open. And then you would dump the 2 grays just because it's cleaner water than the black water, so you dump those second to help clean out the hose and everything. This trailer must be brand new. It must have just came in because it's spotless on the bottom, something you don't normally see that often. I'm going to see, this tank might have some water in it. Let's see. Yep, sure enough. Like I said, we're still water testing. So, this is your 30 amp power cord. It's 30 feet long. Now, this has another feature. It's called a black tank flush. So after you dump your tanks, you can leave the black tank valve open in the open position. That's important. You hook your hose up to here and turn it on, and it'll spray the inside of the black tank and clean it out really good, clean off the sensor so you get a good reading, accurate reading. So it's good to flush your black tank every chance you get when you're dumping it. As long as the dump station has a hose you can use, you should do it. Okay? Now I showed you the fresh water fill on the other side, and I told you the more common way was the city water hookup. This is it right here. So you just put your hose onto here, turn it on, and the whole trailer's pressurized and everything works. All the plumbing works. Okay? Alright, so this is your water heater. This is good to know that this one, there's a switch right here. You can see right there, it's a rocker switch on and off. That operates the electric heating element that's behind this cover. So to operate it on electricity, your water heater, you want to turn that to the on position. You never turn it on when, if there isn't water in the tank, whether you're using it on gas or electric. You got to make sure there's water in the tank before you turn it on. The switches to operate it are inside. All the switches except this one right here that I just showed you. Also, to drain it, you need an 1/16" 6-point socket right here. You can see that. You take that out, and there's an anode rod attached to it also, so it'll be long. It's about 10 inches long or so, but that is your drain plug. Now, you never pull the drain plug unless this is cool. The water is cooled down inside. You never open it when it's hot. And this is a pressure release valve here. You never release the pressure when there's hot water in there. Otherwise, you'll scald yourself or something worse. So you don't want to do that. Up here, they're telling us that housing tells us this is pre-wired for a backup camera, so you can get a Furrion camera that fits in that housing, and you can see behind you when you're backing up. Also, while we're looking up, you have to go on the roof 3 times a season, every 90 days, whatever. You go up there, or have somebody else go up there, and you look at all the seals on the roof. Make sure there's no cracking or separation. So you'll go up there in the spring, you go up there in the middle of the summer, and then once in the fall, and make sure all the sealant is tight, no cracks or separation. Okay, so let's go inside. First I want to close this up so the wind doesn't get a hold of it. All right, so here we go. All right, so this is your control panel right here. So right now the water pump's on. Remember, we were water testing it. That's where you turn your water pump on. You're only going to use that if you're pumping water out of the fresh water tank. If you got city water, you don't need to use this. You'll also use this when you're winterizing too. The water heater to light it on gas, I showed you the electric switches in the lower left-hand corner to light it on gas. It's right here. That'll still apply. You make sure that there's water in the tank before you turn it on. It's important. Your slide out right here for your switch, and your power awning switch. Let me see where we're at here. Let me get it straight so I can just show you briefly. So it goes out like so. It'll go out 8 feet, and then you'll see the awning tube. When you see the awning tube, you know you're all the way out. So, but you have to remember, you never leave the awning out unattended. If you're not going to be at the campsite, then you roll it in, because the wind can come up really quickly, and the weather can change really quickly and damage it in an instant. So, unless you're at the campsite, you keep the awning in. You can check your battery here. It's charged. So always check it when you're not plugged in. Fresh water is empty, because you saw me dump it and I was drowned over there. Black water is empty. Gray tank 1 is empty, and gray tank 2, which they call a galley tank, that was the one that I dumped. That's just for the kitchen sink here. So that would be gray tank number 2 or the galley tank. It's same, different terms for the same thing. That's empty now too. As it fills, or they fill, they'll go up in 1/3 increments. These lights will light up. The LEDs will light up in 1/3 increments. So once you get past 2/3, you know that you have to start thinking about dumping your tanks. Okay? All right. So let me see here. Nice pantry. Okay. So you have a fireplace. It comes with a remote. The fireplace it runs on 110 AC, so you don't have to use any of your LP to heat it or to run the furnace or anything like that. You know, if you're all gathered in the common area at night or early in the morning, you can turn this on. You can adjust the fan speed off, low, and high. You can adjust the appearance of the flame. It has a timer on it. You can set the temperature, so there's a lot you can do with it. And it's a pretty good space heater, like I said. So you can use that when you don't really need the furnace. You just need to take the chill out. Okay. Your sound bar is you have 2 zones. Zone 1 is inside the trailer. Zone 2 is outside speakers. You can stream off this USB right here. So put all your favorite albums on a USB, or you can stream a video if you want to. If you got your TV up here. The HDMI is an in, so you go into the system. Let's say you've got a little game machine with a Blu-ray player built in. You can put it right here and go straight into the system right there through the HDMI. It also you can also stream using Bluetooth, so you can stream off your phone or tablet. So there's a lot you can do with it. The green light you see right here, this is the signal booster for the digital antenna for the TV and for the radio, but for the TV. Make sure it's green like that. If you're trying to pick up anything as broadcast, you always want it on like that. Now this pre-wired panel is telling you that this trailer's pre-wired for a King signal booster for the Wi-Fi. It's a Wi-Fi signal booster, and it's also a router. So there's another panel like this on the roof where you would put an antenna on the roof to pick up the Wi-Fi. That's part of the package. And then your router would sit right here, and basically you'd create a network inside the trailer. The signal booster works really well, so if you're someone who needs a lot of Wi-Fi and you want to clean up and boost the public Wi-Fi, that's a good thing to get. If you're interested, we sell them, but you can also just go online and look at go to kingconnect.com and see the packages. Always get the package with the antenna. That's important. Some of them don't have an antenna, but you have to have that one or it's not really practical. Okay? Alright. So the couch jackknifes flat, turns into a bed. The dinette, you can pull the poles out of the table and set the tabletop down on these cleats and fill in the space with a cushion, so you have another bed there. Of course, you got 2 bunks. Let's see what else we've got here. Your microwave works like any other microwave. This is the vent hood I told you about, the baffle on the outside, if you remember. If you're going to use the fan, you want to open the baffle for sure. Alright, so your range, I don't know if the gas is on or not. If not, I'll talk you through it, even with the gas off if I have to. But you go to high, you turn this sparker clockwise, lit, so obviously the gas is turned on. So each one of these you can turn on and spark, like so, and light them. Now if you want to light the oven, it's a little bit different. Down here, there's a pilot light all the way at the back down there. As a matter of fact, I could spark it so you can see it. I think you can see the spark from there. So what you do for this is you'll go to the oven knob, you'll go to the picture of the flame, which means pilot. You'll depress it and hold it in like that. You continue to hold it in. Then you're going to spark the sparker by turning it clockwise until the flame lights down here on the pilot light. Once the pilot light lights, you're still holding this in, of course. You hold it for another 10 seconds to heat it up, and then go to your operating temperature. So it'll cycle like an oven does, of course, but when you shut it off, the flame goes out, but so does the oven pilot light, so you have to relight the pilot light each time. Okay. This device down here is a power converter. So what this does, it converts 110 AC to 12 volt DC. So you can see, I'll open it up here. You have regular household circuit breakers here, and they're all labeled. It's 110 AC. Then it'll convert the power to 12 volt DC. On this side you got 12 volt fuses, and they're all labeled. So you got hooked 12 volts now. And then if here, let me take this plastic off. It's pretty bad looking. I can get it off anyway. There we go. So if this if any of these fuses were to blow, they'll actually light up, and you can see them through this plastic here, so you know that. Also, as long as you're plugged into shore power, this will charge your battery. It'll keep your battery charged up, which is a good thing. Go ahead and put the steps up, Tony. I'm just talking through the video. You go ahead and move it. Go right ahead. I'll hang on.
Sure? No, I'll just wait till you're done.
Okay, whatever you want to do.
Thanks, Kyle.
All right. So this device here is a carbon monoxide LP gas detector. So you can see it's got a green light on it. It should always be green like that. I'll set it off so you can hear the self-test. That's what it sounds like. One more test coming up. And back to green. It should always be green like that. Obviously, if it goes off, it's detected carbon monoxide or LP gas. You take everybody outside, leave the door open, shut the gas off at the front, and figure out what's going on, okay? The refrigerator is just a 12 volt compressor refrigerator, so it runs on 12 volts. So when you're pulling down the road, your alternator is going to charge your battery, which is going to power your refrigerator. When you're plugged into the campsite, your power converter will convert the electricity to 12 volt DC and power the refrigerator. They're using these a lot now in trailers because with the gas absorption type, you can run them on gas, but you get more cubic feet this way because you gain about, or you lose about a quarter to a third of the depth of the refrigerator for the cooling unit in a gas absorption refrigerator. This one you don't, so it's a much bigger refrigerator. Make sure you latch it. And also always keep the lid down when you're traveling or it'll wind up breaking. You got a closet here. He still has the panel off here, so I'll show you. This is where you winterize at. He took this panel off and you can see there's the water pump, and that is a winterizing line right there. And there's a valve where these lines meet right there on the, you can't barely see, but there's a valve, so you can select between this line to draw the antifreeze into the system, or you can switch it so it draws up from the fresh water tank. So it does both. Right now it's set to draw from the water tank, obviously because you're in camping mode, but that's where you would draw the antifreeze into winterize. Okay. This is your thermostat. You just hit it once to light it up and then you go through. We're on cool auto. Always go with auto. Heat, off, fan, low, but we would rather it be on auto. We'll go to that later. And just right, cool auto. So you always want to have it on auto if you can. It's always the best way to run it. Now there's a lag time for everything here. So when I turn this on or off, you see I could scroll through it, but it didn't shut down. That's because there's about a 6-second delay, so that's normal. So you keep in mind when you turn on the AC, there's going to be a lag time of 6 seconds or so. You have a GFCI here that all the plugs are wired through these. Your sink and shower work like any other sink and shower. Just remember to run the fan with the shower so you pull the humidity out of the trailer. The toilet, it's the thing to know about this is the black tank is directly below. That's your black tank, right? So when it's empty, let's say you just pulled into the campsite, you hook up your water and your power, right? Then you're going to take your chemical, whichever brand you use, you'll put 1 dose right in the bowl. Then you'll go over here to the flush pedal, and you'll step on it, water will come swirling out, right? And you're going to stand on it till you put about 1 gallon or so of water in the tank. There's no way to tell exactly what that is, you just use common sense. The bottom line is you have to have water in the tank and chemical to use it. Never use it dry, you'll regret it. Trust me. Okay, I think that's about it. I think we've got everything. You got your escape window here. You just open it up and grab a hold of that red tab and pull the screen out, and out you go. You got a foot locker storage underneath the front of the foot of the bed. So, okay. All right, well, thanks for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. And I just want to remind you, make sure you inspect the sealant on the trailer and on the roof. Every place you see caulk or sealant from the factory, you inspect that 3 times a season, every 90 days or so. And you have to bypass your water heater when you winterize. Make sure you do that. And just have a lot of fun. And the thing about camping these days, everything's so crowded, you just got to really plan ahead. And think 6 months in advance all the time to get good reservations and get the most out of your trailer you possibly can. Thank you.